All right. Thank you for coming and tuning into this section. I really do appreciate you. This is MobTV, and do well to subscribe. Click the notification bell, and so you get all the videos when we post them. A lot of things are happening in Nigeria. Bandits are walking up and down, terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping. Trump is on Nigeria's case, invasion, not invasion, intervention, technical aid, whatever. Nigeria is in chaos. And the nation is moving to a direction we don't know at the moment. So, and I think it's a time we'll have critical conversation. Some people are sentenced to life imprisonment, death by hanging. So a lot is happening. And I have with me a very powerful, beautiful personality. Another person but Barrister Ejiofor.
Thank you very much.
Nnamdi Kanu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Do appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So how best can you describe yourself?
Well, I'm a simple person, an easygoing man. I'm a lawyer. I'm a family man. And I'm almost a friend to everybody, except those who want to oppress us.
That's great.
Yes.
So how would you explain Nigeria today?
Well, the Nigeria we know today is different from the Nigeria we were born into. Because before now, the entire entity of Nigeria seemed to try to be together. They seem to try to be a nation. There is this slight effort, people trying to see how it could work and how we can be seen by other people as one nation. But unfortunately, that is not the situation now. I'm not saying that it was much that better, or it was in a perfect state before, because I know before now also, a lot of people were killing some other people, and they call it pogrom, especially in the north. They were killing those from the south, especially the southeasterners, and it led to the civil war. Then from the civil war, they say no victor, no vanquished, trying to reconcile. But unfortunately, all the promises of reconciliation never materialized. For instance, the issue of reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Southeast never happened. Instead, what happened was that our fathers were stripped of their finances, and each of them were giving just £20. My father told me he was giving just £20 from his bank account, though one of his saving grace was that he had some money also that were not in the bank, so he could also rely on those ones. But apart from that, he was given £20. And then a lot of people also lost their houses due to the abandoned property law of Rivers State. Some other persons tried to do it in other states, like in Makurdi, where my father had a building. His neighbor confiscated the building and occupied it for years. So after the war, my father had to go to court, and I have the judgment of that court in my box. My father had to go to court to retrieve that building back. The man ate all the rent he collected in that period, but the most important is that we got back our building.
The building.
Yes, and there are so many others who didn't get back their building.
Okay, so for this concern that you mentioned right now, I think a lot of people are so concerned that if there is a separation or a secession of Biafra, if Biafra leaves Nigeria today, that their investment in Nigeria, so to say, like in the northern part, western part of Nigeria, will be a thing that they are not going to retrieve back. Like it's like going home from being somebody to a nobody, or starting from zero ground one again. So it's been a lot of concern, and I think a lot of scholars say it's the reason why the agitation might not see the light of day, because lots of Igbos have invested vastly in Nigeria.
Yes. that could be a reality. But also, there is a way around it. You know, if Biafra comes to exist, Biafra will be a nation amongst the ECOWAS country. It will be a nation amongst the African Union. It will be a nation also amongst the United Nations. And there are protocols guiding all these things, the properties you acquire. We have Nigerians with buildings in Ghana, in Cameroon, in the US. Nobody chased them away from their building because they are a different country. But because we are Africans and the black man mentality, where the lazy man will want to take properties that does not belong to him, it could happen in Nigeria. I remember there was a time somebody from the north was making a statement and saying that they have already started doing a census of the buildings in case Biafrans leave. Then they will go in and take the buildings and all that. Well, if there was a war, for instance, and that war leads to secession, maybe they could do that. But if it's a negotiated secession or division, all these things will be tabled and there will be answers to them. And that is why those who are agitating for the Biafran nation want a situation where the United Nations will be involved, the African Union, the international communities to be involved in the separation, so that nobody will feel cheated, and so that things will be done in accordance with laid down standard procedure. Well, Nigeria will not be the first if it happens. You remember there was a nation called the USSR.
The Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union had so many countries, and when it broke up, they negotiated, they discussed. Russia took the things it needs to take. The current Ukraine fighting now took some of its own things. You remember in those days, most of the nuclear power or warheads of USSR were located in Ukraine.
Ukraine, present-day Ukraine.
And in the course of the division, they said, okay, you don't need to rush these weapons. We can give you something else. We can give you aid. We can give you finances to build, to develop your nation. Meanwhile, you will retrieve the weapons from you. And Ukraine found it profitable for it. And said, okay, yeah, you take the weapons, give us the resources to develop our nation. And with that resources, Ukraine developed a lot of infrastructure, which led to so many Africans and people, so many people from the world going to Ukraine for schooling. Those are some of the proceeds they got. Instead of harboring warheads, nuclear warheads, weapons that will do them no good, that you'll be servicing and spending money on, and meanwhile there's no war that will require it in the nearest future. So because of that, so many countries, not only them, Uzbekistan, so many, Slovakia, all of them. So they separated. The buildings owned by Russians who were living in Ukraine were not confiscated by the Ukrainians. You still live there. The only thing is that if there are taxes to be paid, you pay those taxes. So we expect that in the case of the Nigerian and the Biafran issue, they should sit on the round table, discuss the separation, because it's obviously not working. It's not working. It has not worked for the past 65 years, and that we got independent. So I don't know what magic we're going to do to make it work in this new dispensation when everybody is tearing the other person apart. And even from the 1914, when the British government forced us to join or amalgamated the Northern and Southern Protectorate, it's not as if there was any consultation. It was done by the barrel of a gun. A machine gun was pointed at Nigerians and said, look, you guys must be one nation. And it was done just for ease of administration for the British government, so that they could have one leader. Instead of sending so many administrative officers from London and paying them salary, you can bring these people into one nation and one head and pay just a few people salary to run the affairs of the otherwise two countries. Yes, but be that as it may, the document of the amalgamation clearly stated that it should be tested for 100 years. The 100 years elapsed, I think 2014. Yeah, it elapsed 2014. It didn't work. It's not going to work because the ideology of the two entities the North and the South, they are clearly different.
Okay.
Our cultures are different. Our ways of lives are different. Our religions, they are all different. Everything is different. The way our value system is not the same as the value system of those in the North. And that is why, not the same. That is why in Nigeria, you have the penal code, you have the criminal code. So you have two laws governing the same set of people. You have those who want to do Sharia and those who want to be secular. So our value system are not the same. Our ways of life are not the same. Some people want to keep their wives in Kule, for instance, and some of us said, no, our wives should go look for a job and earn a living and live a life. So the way we want our children, for
Our
instance,
worldviews are not the same.
it's not. We want our children to go to school. Some people want theirs to be alamajiri in the morning, they take plates and they go out to beg. We don't want our own children to do that. So the way we see life is completely different. So there's no how, there's no way we can remain together. We're just forcing ourselves to remain together, but it's not working. It's obviously not working at all.
Okay, so you mentioned the roundtable conversation where the United Nations, AU, ECOWAS will sit alongside Nigeria and Biafra to have that conversation, very vital conversation. Do you think and do you foresee that conversation in the nearest future, given fact that Nigeria was created for a purpose administratively for the UK, and over time we could still see the imprints of the West, and it favors them for this, what they created to steal. So they created it for their own benefit. They created it for their own wealth and success. Do you think, since they are still the ones that run the EU, the AU, the United Nations, ECOWAS, do you think that that is possible?
I believe it is possible. Now, Africa is beginning to wake up, and luckily it's starting from the Sahel region. Those from Niger Republic, for instance, have told their French colonial masters to get away from their territory. Those from Chad have also done the same thing to their colonial masters. The same thing with those in Burkina Faso. You see, these are examples of African nations who are determined to be independent. They want to be independent. And we can see the development going on now in Burkina Faso. Before now, the French government was almost controlling the air they breathe.
In Burkina
Everything is, you must get authorization from France. Until this young man came in and said, no, we cannot continue to take authorization from you before we do something in our nation. Our resources should be for us. You do not dig up our resources, fix a price for it that is way, way below the ordinary market price. And then not to talk, and then you still incite insecurity in our territory just to keep us down and to keep mining our products. So because of that, they kick them out, and I support them. And I think one day too, Nigeria will wake up to understand that Britain is not helping us. They are not helping us. Now, if you are from northern Nigeria, you could develop more, much more better than you are now if you were independent northern Nigeria, if you are detached from the south. Because, the south are... I won't say they are complimenting you. No, they are never complimenting the North. Neither is the North complimenting the South. They are two different, very different entities. Instead, the other is dragging the other back. So the North, for instance, want to go out, be full-blown Sharia country and develop maybe like Saudi Arabia. That would be wonderful. We will encourage them. It will encourage them also to face the agriculture. They have vast lands. They will do their granite pyramid. They export granite and guinea corn and food stuff and all sorts of things to the southern part of Nigeria in exchange for maybe oil and whatever. So there are so many things the North can achieve if they were independent. Look at the wind. If you travel, for instance, to Maiduguri, Sokoto, you see the wind from the Sahara Desert coming in. This wind can be harnessed into wind energy to create electricity. Yeah, but everybody is running to Shiroro Dam and all the small dams, and every time they tell you there is a collapse of the national grid,
and they'll be
it's because these things cannot sustain the population. So there is need to have this nation divided into two or more, so that each unit or each region or each section can grow at its own pace, with its own culture, with its own religion, with its own beliefs and ideology. Then it will also help those from other places those in the southwest, for instance, the Yoruba nation, they can develop their cocoa farm back. You know, before now, in the days of Zik, in the days of Awolowo, in the days of Ahmadu Bello and Co, yeah, the regions were developing and competing favorably without too much bitterness or rancor. The Igbo section will want to do something extraordinary, and then the Yoruba too will want to do their own. Then the North want to do their. Everybody is competing.
Healthy competition.
And there was development. But these days, what happens? You do railway, you leave the South out of your railway project. You draw a railway from here to Niger. What do we really get from Niger? Meanwhile, Onitsha has a lot of people, trailers fly Onitsha to Sokoto to bring in goods. And then you instead of you to do the railway from Onitsha to Sokoto, you are doing the railway from Abuja to Niger. It doesn't make sense. Do a railway from Lagos to Onitsha or to Aba, where people who import
there is
goods,
a haulage.
Yeah, can travel easily. You refuse. Do it from Lagos to Sokoto even. You refuse. But you do from here to Niger. And then what happens? It brings in bandits. It opens the doorway for criminal elements to come in freely. I know because they say we're ECOWAS nation, you don't need visa.
Can travel around.
You just travel as you want. Nobody asks you where are you entering or how are you entering. You just move the way you want to move. And then you see, it draws us backwards to the extent that in the Federal Capital Territory, for instance, you see men with cattle roaming the streets, roaming Central Business District. Just like New York. Imagine traveling to New York and then you see cattle
roaming the
streets with somebody carrying stick and then hiding AK-47 in some bags in the cattle. Those are the kind of things you see in a country like this where we do not have defined principles, we do not have defined citizenship.
Okay,
you know?
So in that regard, you made mention of, so we are vast in cultural ideology. We have difference in worldview, but Nigeria is not the only country that's got different people with different worldview coexist together. So we've seen even in the West, there are countries with multi nationalities, or would I say multi worldview, who are living in the same country.
Yes.
Do you think it's the tribal issue, or do you think it is the law, the governing body, that is not well defined, well structured? Do you think if Nigeria is well structured, that all of us can exist under the umbrella Nigeria and also feel evenly successful?
Now, in the world, it is difficult for you to find multilingual nation. It is difficult. If you are in South Africa, for instance, majority of them they speak Swahili.
No, Swahili is for East Africa. I think they speak Zulu.
Zulu. If you go to East Africa, Swahili. If you come to Nigeria, what do you hear? Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba.
Efik.
And these are independent nations on their own. These are different nations on their own.
But Canada, for instance, has multilingual and
now they're in a society like Canada. You ask yourself, what is the driving force? You know, the mentality of the Europeans is usually different from those of us here in Africa. European, and for instance, the United States of America also,
US too,
that has so many
but
Nigerians,
the black
are there as Americans.
Yeah,
loyalty to what is the ground? What is the foundational value
structure
of the American system? As far as they are concerned, their foundational value is freedom. Is freedom because they pride themselves as land of the free, land of the brave.
Yes,
it's freedom. But in Nigeria, do we pride ourselves as free people? The kind of democracy we practice, is it free democracy? Can you really express yourself without being hunted down by the authorities? Can you, for instance, you in the media, you make a broadcast, for instance, you give a news item to the public. The next thing is that you are fined 5 million naira for making an announcement or for even interviewing somebody. I remember some time ago, Channels Television interviewed a man called Imam Powerful of the IPOB. They were slammed with 5 million naira.
Yes, fine.
And they were like, for goodness sake, why shouldn't we interview this man? But of course, because they are Nigerians, because it's a Nigerian business, because they know you don't have a judiciary that will protect you, they couldn't go to court. If you had gone to court, for instance, you would have challenged it and maybe create a precedent. But unfortunately, we have a judiciary that if you went to court, maybe by now the matter will still be in court. There won't be a decision yet. And possibly the government will not slam you with a closure. In other words, withdraw your license. So by the time you pass through this hurdle,
Frustration.
then it's better you don't even look for a man powerful and their likes anymore. But if it were BBC, if it were CNN, they will go all out to interview the most unwanted
Persons on earth.
And the American government will appreciate that interview because it will help them to understand the reasoning, the way the man is thinking, or the way his group that he represents is thinking. But in Nigerian case,
Contest.
they make sure you do not talk. Now, a couple of weeks back, somebody called Omoele Showere organized the protest, Free Mazen and the Kanu'S protest. The federal government went to court to stop that protest. The court told the federal government, we cannot give you an order to stop this protest, but we can help limit the extent or where these protests can take place. It cannot go near the National Assembly. It cannot go near the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. It cannot go near the Inspector General of Police and all those places. That was fine. The mobilizers, Omolo Shore and Co., went to a place called Unity Fountain that was originally created as a center point for protest.
That's the reason why.
That is the reason they created that place. But if you go to that place, even now, as I speak to you today, being the 6th of December 2025, you will see police trucks, hillocks, and officers
like on a lockdown.
Locked down there, waiting for who will come to do any protest. But America will not do that. Canada will not do that. We're not the only country where people are, for instance, seeking, what do you call it? Separation. There are other countries. Even in Britain, Ireland is saying, look, we must get out from, Scotland is even saying, look, we must get out from you. We must get out from you. We cannot be one country with you. You know,
even you can't do great as it.
Yeah, Catalina is another emerging country. It's a nation again, trying to come out, and the government tolerates them because people must have different view. All of us cannot think alike. All of us cannot be the same thing. It is the uniqueness of human life is the dynamism in it, the different thoughts, approach. That is what makes human beings different from the animals. The animal, if you line them up to go like this, they will just move that way. But human being will ask you, why am I going to move this way? Why can't I follow this way? That is the dynamism we're talking about. Now, in Nigeria, the people, even the Northerners, who think that the Southeasterners don't like them, or who think that the Southwesterners don't like them, or the Southeasterners who think the North don't like them, or ordinarily, the human beings love themselves. Ordinarily. That's why if you see an accident scene here now, nobody asks you where are you from before they start to help.
They help.
They begin to help immediately. That is the human nature, the ordinary human nature. But because Nigeria is so politicized and
tribalized.
It's so tribalized, our ethnicity is a problem to us instead of a blessing. People now begin to question. If, for instance, the resources is to be shared, they'll be asking you, where is this one coming from? Where is that one coming from? If I'm president today, just like Tinubu is, and he has given all the appointments to people from the Southwest, virtually all the lucrative or juicy appointments have been passed on to people from the Southwest. All. And then the next time was Buhari. Virtually all the juicy positions we have to people from the North. So, invariably, if it's my turn, I should be allowed to bring in people from the East. And if tomorrow is Asare Dokubo's turn to be president, he should be allowed to bring in people from the South. But if we want to do like the Canadians, like the Americans, if we want to grow a nation, tribe should be kept aside. Religion should be kept aside. In your letters of employment, when you apply for a job in Nigeria, they ask you tribe, religion. What
State of origin.
What has that got to do with perfection, with excellence, with
We've
capacity?
been in Nigerian.
Yes, we've been in Nigerian. If you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian. You should enjoy equal facility, equal right, equal opportunity.
Just like in Rwanda, it's actually
they have removed.
It's illegal.
They've removed it. Before
Yes.
it used to be.
Yes.
They ask you Hutu or Tutsi or whatever.
Or Tutsi.
But after the Rwandan civil war, you can
genocide.
never mention again that you
It's
are
illegal to say somebody's Tutsi or
Hutu.
Hutu.
You
Yeah.
clean it out. And I'm sure, unless if Nigeria will come to that level, where once you are a Nigerian and you are residing in a state, you are automatically from that state. You can, like somebody will tell you in the US, oh, I'm from Massachusetts, but I live in Chicago, and he does everything in Chicago. He may never go back to his main original state. So it is the same thing that Nigeria should strive if we want to be a nation. But politics will not allow us. Quota system will not allow us. A situation where my son will write JAMB, make 260, and for medicine, for instance, in a federal university, and they will tell you, sorry, we cannot give you 260 because quota, your people have already filled their own quota. Then, and I bring somebody from Zamfara who has 150 for the same medicine. Then my son would be like, I made 250, I read.
But they took somebody
150. And then he grows up knowing that, look,
he's been marginalized.
I've been marginalized. I do not have the same opportunity as people from the north. Then he might start be thinking, oh, I wish I'm from the north.
Yes.
And that is where people start committing crime of forgery. They now go to forge state of origin certificates and all sorts of things. But if you're a Nigerian, you should be a Nigerian if we want to be a nation. Otherwise, divide the nation. So that if you want to study medicine with 50% mark, you do your medicine. You do it there. And then if I travel from my own region to your own region, I will apply as a guest. I will apply as a visitor. You understand? But the situation where I am applying as a Nigerian, as a citizen with equal right, and I don't get it because somebody is from a region considered better than my region, I mean, it's unfortunate.
Highly unfortunate. You know. All right, Barrister, that's a very fantastic approach. You have worked. You have worked with Nnamdi Kanu for a while, closely, for a number of years now.
Yes.
A lot of people just knows Nnamdi Kanu they see on the media, and I don't think that's a whole of a person. How can you define Nnamdi Kanu?
Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man who believes in the Igbo cause and in the Igbo identity. He is also a humanist who believes that every other human being has a right to exist freely and enjoy the facilities that God in heaven has created. Nnamdi Kanu is somebody who has compassion for his neighbor, irrespective of your religion. Now, when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in 2015 and detained in Kuje Correctional Center, do you know that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was virtually paying the fines of convicts who are not Igbos, who are Hausa, Fulanis, and other tribes, paying their fines and asking them to release them, to go. He was not tribalistic. But though he believes in the Igbo cause, but he also believes that every other human being is a human being.
He's a human being, first of all.
Now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, I'm sure you may have listened to the interview of, I forgot the current NANS president, who met Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS detention. He gave testimony of how Mazen Nnamdi Kanu welcomed him, even though he is Northern and a Muslim. He gave testimony of how Mazen Nnamdi Kanu accommodated even the Fulanis in the detention center, solving their problems. In fact, the Fulanis there, feel more comfortable discussing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu than discussing with officers of the DSS. I can tell you that as I speak to you now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave me about 6 names of Fulani or people from Zamfara who were detained in the DSS. They are still there to go to court on their behalf. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu took care of that bill. There is one, Kasimu Abdullahi from Zamfara. The other one is Kasimu Aliu and Sabiatu Abdullahi, both of them from Zamfara State. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu directed me to take their matter to court to ensure their released. He didn't ask them whether you are Fulani, whether you are Hausa, whether you are whatever. And you know the funny thing? These guys were arrested from Zamfara State, brought down to Abuja without a single notification to their family.
So to their family, they are missing.
To their family, they believe they were kidnapped by bandits. So they are just waiting maybe the day they will call for ransom. Their brothers, I called them on phone. When I visited Nnamdi Kanu, he got phone numbers with which I called their brothers from Zamfara. They were shocked
to hear that
they are in Abuja. Mudashiru, the other man is Mudashiru, Aliu, and I've forgotten the second man's name. They all traveled from Zamfara and met me in Abuja here. They were in my office on Friday also, because their brother's case came up on the 4th of December. Now, you arrested this man, you brought them to Abuja. You did not give them opportunity to call their people to tell them where they are. You didn't give them opportunity to hire a lawyer.
And they've been there for
They've been there for like 6 to 7 months now.
Whoa.
No trial, no court proceedings, nothing. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, without thinking, whether they are Easterners or Westerners or Northerners or whatever, gave me a charge. Take these people's matter to court and see that they are released. Their matter is before the Jabi High Court number 51. Jabi High Court number 51. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is such a person who believes in the essence of life. He believes in the essence of life. You know, that people have this notion that, like the judgment the court read the other day, which we are challenging seriously because we didn't see any merit in that judgment. The court, for instance, felt or ruled that Nnamdi Kanu was the cause of the mayhem going on in the southeast and even during the NSAS riot. For instance, how can you accuse Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of killing
30,000 people?
That is Ojus Okalo for you.
Yes.
The man who claimed he loved Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who say he's fighting for his safety, who say he's fighting for his release, who say he's fighting for his well-being. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is convicted and sentenced. He came on national television to say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu killed 30,000 people. And we, as lawyers to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, will respond to him in due course because we believe that he is talking utterly nonsense. Read my lips, nonsense. Ojus Okalo was speaking nonsense. And I wish he would hear this interview because he does not have any data whatsoever to claim that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu killed 30,000 people. Did he kill 30,000 people from London, from UK, or from Kenya? They're
saying that his words like inciting people.
No, but you see, that's the funny thing. They say his words incited people. We went through a trial that lasted for over 10 years. They did not bring one single human being to say it was Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's word that made me kill this person or burn this house or burn that vehicle. No single human being was brought. They brought 5 witnesses. The whole witnesses brought were members of the State Security Service. None of them could say, I was there when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu directed this man to kill this man, and he actually killed that man. Nobody. In the course of the trial, they claimed it was his words that engineered people to kill Gulag. Some of the witnesses of the DSS say Gulag was killed on Sunday. Some say Gulak was killed on Monday. Contradictions here and there. Now, since you arrested those who killed Gulak, why didn't you bring them to court?
To be a witness.
To give witness and say, yes, it was a man, Nnamdi Kanu's statement that made me kill Gulak. Meanwhile, the chief security officer of Imo State, the person of the governor, Hope Uzodimma, stated it clearly that IPOB was not responsible for the death of Gulak, that it was a politically motivated killing.
Assassination.
So, for goodness sake, where did the SSS people get their own information from? The man who was in the state on the day it happened told you those who did this are politically motivated criminals, not IPOB. Then SSS, who lives in Abuja, who traveled all the way from Abuja to Owerri after it had happened, is not the one telling us that it was Nnamdi Kanu's speech. Meanwhile, you arrested people, you got people, you took down statements from people who were witnesses, including the driver of the vehicle where Gulak was in before he was shot. Mm-hmm. You took down his statement. He is alive. You didn't bring him to testify. Gulak was the only man shot, killed that day. You didn't bring any of those who survived the attack to come and say what happened. You are pinning it down on Nnamdi Kanu. And unfortunately, the judge believed it. Another incident, you claim that Nnamdi Kanu, that it was the killing, that he said people will die. So assuming as I'm making this announcement and I say, oh, tomorrow people will die, and then tomorrow people die, you say I'm the one who caused their death. In Nigeria, people die every day. Nnamdi Kanu didn't even need to say people will die before people will die. And I'm sure he has told us severally, in so many quarters, during so many of his interviews, that you do not spill the blood of your people. When he was saying kill security agents, if you see, they cut his interviews in bits and then publish the one they feel comfortable with. You remember that security agencies were killing members of the indigenous people of Biafra. They killed them mercilessly in Aba High School. These are people who came into a school compound, a fenced school compound, to protest, carrying flags. Then the next thing, security agencies opened fire, killing so many of them. They killed at Mpo. They opened fire and killed so many of them. People who had no arms. It was after that incident, or those incidents, that Nnamdi Kanu say, if they kill you, kill them back. That is self-defense, and it is provided for by our laws. And unfortunately, our judge did not take that into consideration when passing his sentence. And it's quite unfortunate. We expected better from his lordship, but unfortunately,
he did
maybe the way he understood it. He delivered the judgment the way he understood it, closing his eyes to the way, to the realities
of the law,
of what happened.
All right, so I learned, and I just want to verify if that is true. I learned that somebody who is facing a heavy charge like terrorism, like Nnamdi Kanu, that the law made it mandatory that he should not represent himself. That even if he refuses a lawyer, that the law court should impose a lawyer on him for such a weightier offense.
Yes.
So if that is true, how come the judge or the Chief Justice did not take that into consideration, knowing that it is actually against the law to allow him to defend himself?
Well, I guess the judge was in a hurry to conclude the case and to convict Nnamdi Kanu. He was in a hurry and forgot that aspect of the law. Anybody who is charged with an offense that could carry death penalty, like Nnamdi Kanu, must be given a lawyer. First of all, he will be allowed a lawyer of his choice. Where he refuses to have one, or where he does not have one, or where he cannot afford one, the law provides that you must assign a lawyer to him. In the court on that day, there were so many lawyers who would have willingly and happily taken up the matter if the court had urged them or appointed them as lawyers for Nnamdi Kanu. There is also a department called the Legal Aid Council, created for that purpose, with so many lawyers who were in the office doing nothing on that day, just waiting to be called to come and take up the matter. But his lordship was in a hurry, and because of that, he forgot to utilize that law that says you must provide a lawyer for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was making it open to him. My lord, I am not a lawyer. I do not understand the law under which I am being tried. Can you please explain that law? Show me the law that I have contravened so that I can enter a defense. If you show me the law now, I will enter the witness box and tender my evidence. Nnamdi Kanu said it severally. It's on record.
It's in public.
It's on record. And yet, my lord said, no, I will not show you. Just enter your defense and I will show you the law when I'm writing my judgment. You now notice that, you now ask yourself, what would it have cost his lordship, Honorable Justice James Omotosho, to take a break, write a ruling and say, this is the law you contravened? What will it have cost him to do that? Nothing. It would have cost him absolutely nothing. But instead, he insisted that he cannot show Mazen Nnamdi Kanu the law that he contravened. And how can a man, for instance, defend himself when he does not know the law that he contravened? How can a man defend himself when, according to him, the law you show me has been repealed? You are trying me under a law that is not in existence. Well, his lordship, during the course of his judgment, said, yes, the law is repealed, but there is a saving clause in the new law which says I can apply the old law. But unfortunately, my lord didn't read it properly. The law is, yes, there is a saving clause that retains the offense, but you cannot try him under that old law. The new law, which provides for the saving clause, says, I retain those offenses, but if you are going to try him under this new law. My lord didn't read that because he was in a hurry. He was in a hurry. And you know the law is that equity, the law rushed. Justice rushed is justice denied. Just like justice delayed is justice denied. So Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, for instance, had been having injustices all along. His case had been delayed for over 9 years. For over 9 years delayed. He had been in detention almost throughout. And unfortunately, in solitary detention, where you will be alone in a small room with nobody to talk to for almost 9 years. What kind of punishment is that? What law? Is that not torture? And you call your country a country that respects rule of law and fundamental human rights of people, a country that does not believe in torture, but you kept him for 9 good years in a solitary confinement. And he's begging you, send me to prison. Don't put me in solitary confinement. Send me to prison. But today, after convicting him, is it not to prison they sent him?
After a very long time of torture.
10 years now. Now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu told them, if you want to convict...
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Hold that thought, Barrister. Do you think, because this... you said the judge was in a rush.
Yes.
Do you think that punctures that...
it punctures that judgment.
The judgment that
yes,
he
it punctures it. Because, first of all, you were in a rush to sentence him. That's why you didn't remember to give him a lawyer. As required by law. You must give him a lawyer. That is his right. It's a right. You cannot deny him that right. And if you deny him that right, it means you have given him unfair treatment and an unjust judgment. There is no justice in that.
Okay.
And not only that, the man raised vital issues that you have to decide on before you proceed. For instance, the law under which you try me is a repealed law. You cannot try me under that law. You must satisfy yourself and satisfy me that you have jurisdiction before you can proceed beyond the point you are now. That is what Nnamdi Kanu queried. Show me the law that you are trying me. If you show me the law that you are trying me, that means you have convinced yourself as a judge that you have the jurisdiction to try me. But if you cannot show me that law under which you are trying me, it means you are not even satisfied that you have jurisdiction. You are just pretending to have jurisdiction.
Okay.
Yes.
So Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen.
Yes.
And a lot of people online and elsewhere, they are worried that we've not seen Britain intervene in any way, manner, shape, or form. So you are very close to the situation. We might not have enough information on that. Has the Britain, as a country, intervened in his case?
British government have not intervened because they are also guilty of the accusation Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been screaming about. They are guilty of colluding with the federal government of Nigeria to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria. You remember he went into Kenya with his British passport, not Nigerian passport, British passport. So he was
kidnapped as a British.
He was kidnapped as a British citizen, and Britain kept quiet. Tolerated it, smiled at it, encouraged it. Britain never for once demanded that the right of their citizen be re-established. They did not for one day request the federal government of Nigeria to return Nnamdi Kanu back to Kenya, despite the fact that there are so many judicial authorities of the Commonwealth country governed by Britain that condemns what they call extraordinary rendition. Extraordinary rendition simply means kidnapping. And the Supreme Court says it's a criminal act. And if it's a criminal act, then the person who perpetrated it are criminals. And because the federal government of Nigeria perpetrated it, the federal government is a criminal government. That is the law.
And there is
nothing. And Britain, who encouraged it, who aided and abetted it, are complicit. They are also criminals for tolerating such. Now, it happened during the time of Umaru Dikko in the same Britain, when General Muhammad Buhari, then as head of state, went to kidnap, using Nigerian elements, to kidnap Umaru Dikko from London. They were intercepted. They even put him in a crate. They were intercepted. And what happened? Nigeria was sanctioned severely. They were suspended from the Commonwealth countries for doing that. Then the individuals who participated in it were sent to prison after conviction. That shows you it's a criminal thing. Now the same General Muhammad Buhari again went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu,
a British citizen.
So he says he appears to be an expert in kidnapping. And it was all this period that he was head of state that kidnapping skyrocketed in Nigeria. Everywhere is kidnap. It was during his period, during his tenure. And I'm sure you also remember that in those days, Boko Haram named him as their spokesman, but he rejected. So
he also saw the fight against them.
And he was saying, if you shoot Boko Haram, you are fighting the North.
The North. A fight against Boko Haram is a fight against them. That's what he told Jonathan.
A whole general of the Nigerian army who became president is telling you that fighting Boko Haram is fighting the North. Now, Boko Haram has taken over everywhere in the North. They are now in the Southwest. They've entered Kwara, and they call them bandits. Now, they give them a new name, bandits. But we know that they have broken into so many factions. There is the ISWAP, there is the Rukuwara, or whatever they call them. Then there is the bandit aspect. So,
and Boko Haram.
So it's all courtesy of the last administration, headed by General Muhammad Buhari, and handed over to his brother and friend, Tinubu.
Is there any hope that Nnamdi Kanu will be freed?
Well, if I say there is no hope, I won't be doing justice to it, because if I say there is no hope, it means I'm preempting the Court of Appeal. Because we're analyzing the judgment, we are picking out certain elements of the judgment that breach the law and the Constitution, which we hope to present before the Court of Appeal. And knowing the Court of Appeal, knowing also that it was the Court of Appeal that originally struck out all the charges against Nnamdi Kanu, we believe that there is still a good judge there in the Court of Appeal who will look at the law without looking at the politics and said, no, irrespective of the politics, this is what the law says. You are wrong here, you are wrong here, you are wrong there. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for instance, is wrong under the law, so be it. But if he's also right under the law, then grant him freedom. Let him go. You see, unfortunately, it appears some of us, we look at the body language, they tell the body language of the president. So we look at the body language of the government before we take decisions, judicial decisions. What does the body language of the government say? If the body language of the government is that don't release this man, then he will not be released. You know, there are so many funny incidents.
Factors.
You know, so many funny incidents. But we believe strongly that the Court of Appeal will do justice. We believe in that. We also believe that people who are following it politically will get the attention of the head of state now, or the president, talking about Tinubu, to exercise the powers under Constitution and say, look, this man did not commit any crime. Let him go. And they call it granting pardon or whatever, or prerogative of mercy, whatever it is. But let this man go.
But do you think that that's visible, given the fact that you talked about body language? Do you think that it's visible for Tinubu to grant Mazi a presidential pardon?
Well, I would say in the meantime, yes, because he had said it before that he doesn't want to interfere in judicial proceedings, that after judicial proceedings, whatever it is, that's when he can come in. So now judicial proceedings have ended. We're now looking at him to do that thing he promised he was going to do. But otherwise, if it's left for some people, I know people like Ojo Okalo would not want Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out. He will not, because he knows that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out, his political investment and ambition would diminish grossly. In the first place, he was crying to be made Senate president. He was crying like a baby, shedding tears, crying, you know. Why? Why would you be crying if you know it's a right? Because you do not even believe you have a right to be Senate president.
That's
You think you
crying.
can cry and get it by sentiment. You don't do that. And you cannot get it because you are not unified with your Southeasterners. How can you be talking about being Senate president, whereas people in your state self don't really believe in you? Yeah?
Okay, some people online are saying grossly that the name Biafra had become a nightmare to them. And I think Showore said that he was in a meeting before the court time. They were talking about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But then, that the people holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu also happens to be the South
Eastern politicians. Yes.
So how viable is that? If it is very much viable and information, how can we walk across that?
Well, people of the Southeast need to be politically sensitized. You know, in the South, we hardly vote. On the day of election now, you see young men and women who are of voting age will be in their houses watching television. They will not come out. Unlike the North, where on the day of election, they will carry wheelbarrow, bring the disabled, bring everybody to come and vote. But on the day of election in the Southeast, when you tell somebody to go and vote, you tell you, look, the sun is too much, that after all, his vote doesn't count. So there is a lot of voters' apathy in the Southeast. And you remember some times ago, people, because they believe in the Biafran struggle, they tore their voters' card. So it is time for us to go back and get voters' card and re-register.
And make a statement.
And make a political statement by voting out people like Ojo Okalo, people like Hope Uzodimma, people like Dave Umahi, people like Rocha Sokorocha. Those who shouldn't near our government houses anymore. People like, what was his name in Anambra? The current governor self. Soludo, who was, before he became governor. You know, the funny thing is that before they become governor, they will shout, Nnamdi Kanu, release him.
They ride on that.
They ride on it. Then once they enter the government house, the next thing is they cut it off. And they tell you, look, you can kill Nnamdi Kanu now.
Because they've gotten what they wanted.
They've gotten what they want.
So, I understand what you're saying by the election and voting making a statement. Okay. But these people, I think we should also cut them some slack. in the sense that they come out, they vote in the time past, and after voting, they just realize that their vote actually doesn't count. I think is a valid reason for you to have that bias. Why would I risk my life? A stray bullet could kill me, could kill my child. A talk could blank me, cut me a knife or something. I'm in danger. So if I endanger my life, at least it should be worth it. So in a situation whereby we cannot be able to ascertain that, it becomes a problem. Just like in the past election, somebody like the Western community all even said that Peter Obi won the election. But who do we have as a president? Tinubu. Yeah. And after he was even sworn in, he even came online to say that, I know that you did not vote for me. So all this, putting all this into consideration, do you think that the biggest statement would be election?
Now, I believe that the biggest statement will still be that election, because for Tinubu to have acknowledged that he was not voted for is a big statement. In his mind, he knows that I was not voted for. So it is better that his conscience keeps pricking him. It is better
do politicians, do they have one?
Well, whether they have or not, if he doesn't have, how would he tell us, I know you didn't vote me? This is conscience that is flogging him.
Or maybe he also telling us, don't expect nothing from me. You know?
Well, he announced it before then, say, snatch it, take it, run with it. They did that. They snatched it, they took it, they ran with it. And that is why we are where we are today. That is why it seems nothing is happening, nothing is progressing. That is why it seems the Nigerian people are more sad than they were during the time of Jonathan. Because these are people who, when Jonathan was in power, people were happy. Institutions were progressing. Institutions were allowed to work. And the only thing that can develop democracy is strong institutions. Then
I think during his time, we became the fastest growing economy.
The fastest growing economy. And of course,
in
you
Africa,
know, now when these things happened, General Muhammad Buhari came in, riding on the Chibok security thing, that I know where the Chibok girls are. Just let me, within 24 hours, I'll bring them back. Then what happened? They elected him thinking he will bring back Chibok girls. People like Obi Ezekwesili and her team, we are going around, bring back our girls, bring back our girls.
Even the wife of Obama.
You know, and now they give power to who they think has military might and military intelligence and military strategy, hoping that he will just go and bring back the girls.
Where are we?
Till tomorrow, the girls are lost. Of course, so many of them are mothers now. Even if you ask them to come back, they'll tell, look, I'm already here, let me remain here. I have children already. You know, like Leah Sharibu. That one is already a mother of so many children. So even if you open the door and say go, she may not go, because she already has children. Maybe she has even developed affection for her kidnapper. Yes,
yeah,
it's possible.
It happens.
After a while, you develop affection.
Yes,
say, well, definitely. The man is treating me nice. That's all.
I might as well.
Just relax here and remain here and be his wife. Now, that is the politics I mentioned. The ordinary Southerner will do everything to recover his or her child.
No matter how long.
No matter what, he would recover it. But the average, the Northerners, they will tell you, well, the kidnappers have taken them, we'll just wait. Have you ever heard that the kidnappers, that the Northerners were paying ransom? Is it not their government that is paying the ransom on their behalf? It is their government that pays their ransom. But in the Southeast, the family raise money, they sell their properties to pay ransom. The other time, El-Rufai said he took money to bandits somewhere in the bush somewhere.
To settle them.
Can you imagine that? Then now, the same El-Rufai came the other day and was saying that federal government has made it as a policy to pay the bandits monthly. They are paying monthly, for peace to reign. Haba. Yeah, then why is it that the Southeast IPOB, even though they are not bandits, they are not terrorists, they are not criminals, why are you not paying them monthly too?
To balance the equation.
So you see, that's why I told you, our world views are different. The way the North can afford, their government can afford to pay bandits and kidnappers ransom and even pay them monthly salary. They can afford
East
that.
frowns at it.
But we in the East, we hate it. It's not in our DNA. We can't do such. Yes.
So, Barrister, lastly, why Sokoto?
They sent Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto to punish him further. Beyond the terms of imprisonment, which the court dished out, they felt that, look, to also make him suffer, both psychologically, emotionally, and physically, send him to a place where he knows nobody. Send him to a place where his people cannot visit him easily. They want to limit the number of visitors, the number of Southeasterners who go to see him, the number of his lovers and followers. That's why they took him to far away Sokoto. But funny enough, as they took him there, the place had become a mecca of a sort. Everybody is going to Sokoto. People don't care. Some enter night buses
to go
see Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto. Do you know the funny thing? Even the Sokoto indigenes, the Hausas amongst them, were so excited. They have made him president of the entire prison.
Whoa.
Somebody who just came not quite 1 month. They've made him president. They've embraced him. The authorities are now scared again because, originally Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been telling these people that the Hausas, you are different from the Fulanis. The Fulanis came in, conquered your people, and are colonizing you. And then they will tell you we are Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. There is a war difference between Hausas and Fulani. They are different. Now it is beginning to be clearer to the Hausa people that this thing might be true. There are so many of them now saying it is possible that this is true. So even in the prison now, they are scared that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should not have Hausa followers. Because if he has Hausa followers, then there will be real issues there in the north. Because the Hausas will not tell the Fulani man, you can no longer continue to rule over us. And the north ordinary, they can't face competition. If all they believe in, if I'm the emir, I will remain the emir. After me, my children, my lineage.
Monarchy.
Then if you are the gate man to the emir,
you should be.
All your life, your lineage, everybody should be gate man to the emir. Yes. So that is their life. But we in the Southeast, if you are a mechanic today, my father, for instance, was a mechanic, a full mechanic. And today I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
And he has other children.
Your siblings who are different things.
Went into so many fields. There are chartered accountants, there are reverend fathers, and so many owners of schools, proprietors of secondary schools. Now, if I was in the north, I won't dare do anything. I will still go back to mechanic and be servicing the cars of the emir and the sultan and all those people. But the Igbo man will ask you, I want to have my own. I want to be my own.
Have my own destiny.
Exactly. Now, another challenge they have is that bringing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto is a gross breach of his fundamental human rights. There is a United Nations Charter signed by every United Nations member. They call it Nelson Mandela Detention Order. You cannot detain somebody far away from his home or from his people. It is an order we all signed as members of United Nations. We signed it. Nigeria is a signatory to it. But now you removed him from his home because ordinarily his place of detention should be in Abia, his hometown.
So that he will have his people.
So that he will have his people around him. It will help him because
psychologically.
What you call this place correctional center. If you want to correct somebody, what do? Bring him close to people who love him, so that they can talk to him and say, "Kai, Nwanna, my brother, this thing you did is not too good, though." But you now took him to those you think are his enemies, the Fulani people, so that they will do what? Welcome him with hugs and kisses. The whole aim of sending him to Sokoto is to make sure they inflict the maximum punishment they can afford to inflict on him. Breaching his fundamental right, breaching the laws that creates correctional facilities. Now, another important thing is this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in the course of detention, filed several applications concerning his health. Take me to Kuje Correctional Center. They said, no, we'll leave you in DSS because DSS has a facility to take care of your health. You remember there are doctors' reports from Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, including the one by the Nigerian Medical Association, which was done before the order of court. You know, the court made an order for doctor
to examine
him.
Yes.
But they had already examined him, courtesy of the Attorney General of the Federation, who appointed that team to examine him. And they had listed, this man is not well. He has issues. They lined it up. However, they say, despite the fact that he has issues, we have facility to take care of him here in Abuja. So he can stand his trial. But now, when they were sending him to Sokoto, they didn't take into consideration those facilities. Do you have those facilities in Sokoto? They don't. They don't. Now, all his doctors are here in Abuja. The other one comes in from Abia State. The others are here in Abuja. You have completely alienated him from his doctors so that he can go to Sokoto and maybe go critical in his illness and possibly die. Then you say, sorry, he died of natural or illness or whatever. So the Nigerian society is a society that does not care for the life of his people, for the life of those who reside in it. Whether you are local or foreigner, they don't care. They don't care whether you exist or not. And that is why people can be kidnapped in their hundreds, and the government will tell you, don't worry, in the evening, by evening, they will call you for ransom. Just pay, you will be released. They do it. People were kidnapped in Asokoro Extension the other day, 2 ladies, and they narrated the ordeal in the hands of those who kidnapped them. They said they were Fulani men who kidnapped them, took them into the bush. The bush is not far from their houses. Police people came, instead of entering the bush in pursuit, they remained in the compound that the incident happened. Now, those ladies stayed after the torture and everything that was done to them in the bush in Asokoro Extension. The kidnappers told them, oh yeah, you can go. Because one of them was collapsing and waking up and collapsing and waking up. After they have dealt with them,
allow them.
They now told them you can go. The lady said that as they were going, the kidnappers sat on the ground and lit cigarettes and were smoking, relaxing, trying to calm themselves. These ladies walked up to their house and saw policemen there and said, these people are right behind us here. Smoking. Enter and pursue them. For where? Till tomorrow. Police did not go. And then the police came out to tell us, we rescued the girls. And the girls said, no, you didn't rescue us.
You were not rescued.
You didn't rescue us. We were released by our captors. The only thing you did is when we came home, you took us to hospital and dumped us there. Because the lady said when we were at the hospital for treatment, they called the police when bills started rising to 200,000. Who is going to pay for this? The police said, you are the one who will pay. So at that point, the lady said, okay, better summarize the treatment. We can't incur more bills because they have taken everything we have. Is it not the society? Is it not the government that should have taken care of their medical bills?
Being victims
of kidnap. These are people you ordinarily ought to protect by reason of the fact that the Constitution said that the primary duty of government is security and welfare of its people. You failed in your responsibility to provide the security. Now you are failing in your responsibility to even provide the welfare, the health welfare of the people. You are telling victims, look, you take care of your bill. Is this not a sign? These are all signs of failed state. It's failed state. We are pretending. You provide your security by yourself. You provide the electricity by yourself. You provide your water through your borehole by yourself. Everything you provide for yourself. Is this not signs of failed states? Now, during the time of Jonathan, Boko Haram was limited to the northeast. Few states. Today, they took over. They are even doing weddings.
They're on TikTok.
We're carrying AK-47.
They're on TikTok.
They are on TikTok. You cannot track TikTok. But you track Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya to kidnap him. Because it's a government of kidnappers. A government that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu is a government of kidnappers. They tried it during Imoridiko. They kidnapped him. They were caught. They did it in Nnamdi Kanu. They were caught. In their regime, there is kidnap everywhere. This shows that they were masters and their boys are everywhere kidnapping on their behalf. These are all signs of failed state. In America, we like to use America as an example because one, we practice their kind of government. We travel there for medical checkup. We go there on holidays. Everything. So we'll be using them as our standard. In America, you come out and you kidnap one human being, the entire police in that state will be after you until they rescue the person, whether dead or alive. And they must also catch you who kidnapped him. How many kidnappers have you heard were arrested and prosecuted? How many ISWAP or Luruwani or Boko Haram or bandits have you heard were arrested and tried and convicted and sentenced? But you quickly want to sentence Nnamdi Kanu. You quickly want to sentence Showere, those who are challenging your incompetence and your yayeness. You are chasing them around, trying to block them. But those who are committing the real atrocities, you will take money to them, and every month you pay them money for peace to reign. Can you imagine that? Paying armed robbers and kidnappers money for peace to reign.
Thank you so much, Barrister, for coming. Really do appreciate
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.